All right, thank you very much. So we will call our May Economic Development Commission meeting to order. Thank you all for coming. This is the first time in a while we've had everybody, so it's really exciting to see everybody here tonight. So thank you all very much. Does everybody know each other? Did we do introductions? Nancy, have we? You were at the meeting 2 meetings ago, right? You're on mute.
I was at the February meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
We'll skip introductions, but we will, let's see, next on the agenda will be public comment. I don't believe we have anyone here from the public, so we can check that off the list, and that takes us to approval of the minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes in our packet for tonight, because we didn't have a quorum at our last meeting. So we have the February and the March minutes to approve tonight. So if anyone wants to make a motion.
Motion to approve minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
From Valessa, all right. Any discussion on either set? We can do these, we'll do them together here. All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye, or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. All right, very good, thank you very much. So we'll keep it kind of moving right along into reports. We have the subcommittees update a little bit further down, so the member update's not with respect to any subcommittee stuff, but do any of the members have an update for the commission tonight? All right, then we will turn it over to Cynthia for the staff update.
Great, thanks, Steve. I just have 2 items. So Monday night at the council meeting, there will be a presentation of the 3 recipients for the Taste of Mansfield Champion Award, and that will be at 6:45. So if you, I can send you the packet information if you wanted to watch it virtually or be there for the presentation. So we're working on the final logistics on that, but that's exciting, you know, first year of that program. So I wanted to let everybody know about the timing and next steps. We got notification, Ryan did, and then a couple of us who are on the economic development loop on Department of Economic and Community Development Community Investment Grant program. And I haven't delved into it yet to see what exactly are all the criteria, but it's kind of 2 pieces. One is sort of traditional infrastructure, and the other is related to small businesses. So that's the piece. Well, both pieces are economic/community development, but stay tuned while we kind of, you know, go through that and see if there's anything that would make sense to apply for. And I think that's all that I had. If anybody has any questions.
I was giving you compliments and now I was on mute, so thank you very much, that's great. Did anybody have any questions? I didn't see any hands. All right. Businesses, updates, openings and closings. Anybody noticed anything that they want to report in terms of business openings and closings? Go ahead, Cynthia.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, and I'm sorry I didn't go back and loop back on the minutes, but Jefferson Fry in the old Husky Pizza space, there's definitely construction going on in there. They got their permit approved, or I'm sorry, their sign approved by zoning agent, I think last week. So they have been in touch with us about a variety of things, and hopefully the partnership will work with them, with the town, with the mayor, on hopefully a grand opening at some point. But to be determined when their opening is. I know they're anxious to get opened, but I think certainly by the end of the summer they will be open. And they do have locations in Cromwell, Glastonbury, and they just opened one in Vernon in the Staples Plaza.
Nancy, did you have one?
Is D&D Auto closed over in Holiday Mall? I don't know.
I think
It might be, Nancy. I might have heard that. Yeah.
Okay.
I think what I heard was all those businesses needed to be out by the end of the summer, beginning of the fall, due to the construction schedule over there. So they're probably one at a time, kind of wrapping it up.
Okay.
The date I heard was actually October 1st. Everybody has to be out by October 1st.
Has Brothers Deli closed since the last meeting?
Yes, thank you, Josh. Yes, it has. Yeah, and I did hear from Manny Hayes, the owner. They're trying to get somebody in as soon as possible. Thank you, Josh.
All right. Any other openings and closings? All right. Housing updates. Cynthia, you want to grab that one, or I mean, this is, I guess, what we just did with the development thing was more of a subcommittee update. So.
Oh, okay. Then I'll let you do it under subcommittee updates. I think that would cover most of it. I'm just trying to see if there was, bear with me for a sec. Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Okay.
I was just trying to see if there was anything that didn't fit into a bucket, but
Okay. So, and then the calendar, I don't think there's anything for that. So we'll move on to our discussion items. First of which is the American Rescue Plan Act and the local small business assistance proposal. And I don't know if this is a Cynthia or a Ryan one.
up to Ryan, how he wants to handle it.
I'll say a few words. So at the town council's May 9th meeting, council was presented with a few different things from staff. One was a proposed program policy document, and the other was a application form for this proposed new program. That's a local business assistance program targeting businesses that were economically impacted by the pandemic. I don't know, Cynthia, if the EDC packet for tonight included any of the program literature, but if it didn't, I'll just maybe try to hit some of the highlights. So first and foremost, really trying to focus these resources, which is a total of $370,000. I think I mentioned that in a previous EDC meeting, that was the dollar amount we were looking to distribute. Maximum grant awards are generally going to be capped at $10,000. So by extension, using some simple math, if every applicant requested $10,000, and there's no reason to think that they will, but if every business that approached us did, that would support 37 businesses for the $370,000 total program allocation. Criteria for eligibility, I won't go through all of them, but a couple things to highlight. Business has to have been in operation for a minimum of 24 months. Businesses can't have more than 25 full-time employees. Businesses can't generate more than $2 million in gross annual revenue. So those sorts of criteria are in place because we're not really trying to provide economic relief for box stores. We're trying to provide it for small family-owned businesses in our community. And as the information or the documentation said, we're giving priority to certified minority and women-owned business enterprises, certified business enterprises, and veteran-owned businesses. Businesses also will be prioritized if they did not previously receive some form of COVID-related financial assistance. So those are some of the highlights. Again, maximum awards are being capped at $10,000. So we think most of the awards will be under $5,000. Program will officially go live on around June 1st, I believe. And I think that's sort of it in a nutshell. Excited to be rolling this out. We've been talking about a program like this for a while, and excited that the town council supported it.
Great, thank you. Cynthia?
We have had 3 either phone calls or emails. One was prior to when the draft was released, but just to let people know that, there is some interest from some small businesses already.
I have a question. You said 24 months. 24 months from when? What is the 24-month time period?
I believe it's have to have been in existence 24 months back from the date that the program is rolled out.
When we shut down?
So basically in existence for at least the last 24 months.
Okay.
So
I'm
anything,
just
I mean,
trying to see if myself is gonna qualify to try to apply for this money. So I've been in existence for 3 years, but I wasn't in existence for 3 years when we were shut down for COVID.
no, yeah, so it
Oh.
wouldn't be 2 years. It's basically saying if we did 2 years back from today, we're saying you're in existence like
Okay,
at the start of the at least at the start of the pandemic.
okay,
That's sort of the gist. Yeah.
okay, thank you.
I have a question in regards to conflict of interest on this particular. Not to say that I am going to apply for a small business that actually may qualify. What portion should any of us in that situation recuse ourselves in this committee? I recuse myself on the council, but I don't want to be involved in anything that I may or a family member may apply for in the future.
Yeah, I think Cynthia may have some thoughts here, but I don't know that unless the EDC as a body was going to take some sort of affirmative stance in support of an individual business's application for funding, I don't necessarily think that the EDC will have a an official role to play here. So I guess I think that in terms of applications for funding, they won't be channeled through, I guess, the EDC. So there won't, in my view, be a conflict of interest there.
Yeah, I would appreciate, I'll see it in the packet or whatever. So it's a possibility that we actually may review these applications. Is that right?
Well, we're still trying to figure out, so there's going to be a like a review body that we assemble. Like I'll identify some folks, and obviously we'll take care to tap people that we wouldn't anticipate have conflicts of interest.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think, you're dealing with people's financial information too. So, that's something that goes into it as well in terms of the review process.
And Kristen?
I apologize if I missed this. Now, does the money have to be used towards something specific? Are they applying for something specific, or can it be used for anything for their small business?
So we're trying to have a relatively high degree of flexibility. Businesses are expected to articulate what their impact was. So identify, what sort of monetize the impact and extent. And to an extent, what their planned use of the funds is will influence, I guess, their competitiveness. But we're trying. The goal here was really not to be too prescriptive, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Right.
But I mean,
Any other questions?
I was just gonna say, sorry, Steve, examples, payroll costs, utilities, rent and mortgage assistance. Those are all things that would qualify.
I think it's also helpful for those of us on the business outreach subcommittee to know that this exists and have a flavor for what it is. So as we're meeting with businesses in town, over the next few weeks, we can mention it to them and maybe kind of put it on their radar if they haven't heard about it already. So.
Yeah, please do help us get the word out. We're sort of guessing wildly what the demand will be, so everybody has a theory from, we're going to get overrun to it'll be pretty lightly pursued. So I guess it'll be interesting to see. We certainly want to help as many businesses as there are that need it. And so we don't want this to be a well-kept secret. We want people to know about the program. And so any help people in the EDC can provide in terms of getting the word out would be much appreciated.
I can send a link to the council packet from last week so that everybody sees it. And then it is still in draft. So Ryan and I and other town staff will work on finalizing it and then putting together a promotion packet, working with Margaret in Ryan's office and Kathleen in our office.
When you say promotion pack, you mean like a one pager, like bullet point kind of a thing, or like the entire?
No, I'm sorry, Steve. I meant, where are we going to get it out? Website,
Oh,
social
gotcha.
media. That's what I meant. Yeah, it's fairly, I think, digestible. Does that make sense, Ryan? It's not an extensive application or a policy document. It's 3 pages for each. So I don't think I don't think it needs a one pager necessarily, but we'll see.
Yeah, the council was very clear, these are, at the end of the day, we hope there'll be meaningful amounts of money that improve people's situation, but the amount of the award, the amount of effort that goes into it should be proportionate, I guess, to the amount being awarded. And so these are relatively, modest dollar amounts that'll be allocated, and we don't want to have a 50-page application.
Right, great, okay, makes sense. Anything else on this? All right, thank you both very much. We'll move on to subcommittee updates. Do you want to let governance go first? I think it's
is there an update from governance? Oh wait.
I think we're just working on filling the slots at this point. We have 3 empty seats. And so you guys were powwowing with Cynthia, I think, on how we could fill those slots. I know Kristen had a name possibly that we can add to that list that was circulating. And Chris, I don't know if you want to just reach out to Cynthia afterwards, or if you want to mention it now, or however you want to do that.
Sure, I'll reach out afterwards. I'll email you and Cynthia.
Awesome, excellent. Okay, then business outreach and visitation surveys. I finally got out the list of businesses and the questions from our meeting 2 months ago to our committee today. So hopefully we can start making a little bit better progress than I have in the past, because it was woefully long since I should have gotten that out to everybody. But now we have it, and we can get started and hopefully get some visits in before our next meeting. We'll have something to report back. I know I probably sound like a broken record. We did these in the past, and they were really, really helpful for gauging how we can be more effective as an EDC, and what the climate is out there, and what things we should have on our radar. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And yeah, so that should be good. And then our third committee is the, help me, Cynthia. Business outreach.
Development project
Oh.
review.
And Lane and I and Cynthia and Linda and Josh just met to do that one. Lane, you want to say anything about that? Or did we lose your audio? I think we lost his audio. All right, I'll take a crack, and Lane, you can fill in anything I leave out.
Okay.
I think the thing that we're going to be working on over the next month or so is there's a new project, a new set of guidelines being proposed for the project, kind of on the corner here of Timber Drive and 195. It's a piece of land owned by Mike Taylor. There's an application for residential housing, possibly mixed use with some commercial, and they're looking to create, or the Planning and Zoning Commission is looking to create a transitional zone from the kind of more intense development we have, like the standard at Four Corners, something a little bit less intense because it borders the neighborhood on Timber Drive. And so the applicant went out and actually proposed a set of guidelines as to what that zone would look like. So that's going to start working its way through the PZC. So Lane and I are going to take a look at that, and then we'll draft something for our commission to review, hopefully at the next meeting, so we can kind of put our 2 cents in as to what we think would be appropriate from an economic development perspective, while being sensitive to the fact that there's a neighborhood right there as well. Did I miss anything on that one, Lane? Pretty good.
Nope.
All right. Linda did also mention that the standard at Four Corners is moving forward. They had an amendment they had to take care of, so that slowed it down a little bit, but everything is fine with that. Other projects that we've discussed here in the past that Linda gave us updates on would be the Champaign Motor Cars property redevelopment, the Villa Hills redevelopment, both of which have been, I guess they pulled it with the intention of resubmitting. They ran out of time. You get a certain prescribed period of time to get your application through and approved, and they were making changes along the way. They ran out of time, so they'll be pulling both of those and then resubmitting once they address the concerns that were noted. There was a public comment that opened and closed on the tasting room for inside of the Kirby Mill. And I guess that was earlier this week. And then there was a very sizable grant that the town received towards the Eagleville Green project, which is the affordable housing project on South Eagleville Road near Maple Road. So Cynthia, do you know if they're still looking for additional funding in order to start that project, not just this grant amount, although this helps?
Yeah, I think there's, Ryan will have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's some ARPA dollars there. There's some state of Connecticut dollars there. So I think especially the state money, they're still working that out. But I think most of the money's been raised.
Oh, great. The grant was almost 5 million. It was like a very, very sizable grant. So I think that was the majority of our meeting, right, Lane?
I think that's right.
Okay. Anything else for subcommittee updates? Okie dokie.
Steve, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You said something at Four Corners. Is that the property right behind me that, or for the 103? Or is that the 398 property?
The 398 property.
Okay.
So the old abandoned restaurant,
Yeah,
Holiday
yeah, yeah.
Mall, and yeah.
Okay, I knew that was, I was just thinking that the other 103 was approved as well, and I didn't see that.
No, that one, I think, my understanding from our last meeting was the same kind of deal with the other two projects. They had proposed their project, and then they got their first round of comments. And as they worked their way through there's like a certain prescribed statutory period of time you're allotted to get it approved.
Yep.
And they ran out of time, so they withdraw the application, and then they plan to
Have to
resubmit.
redo. Okay, thank you.
Melissa?
A long time ago, Cynthia had mentioned traffic calming, and I was wondering if that was tied to the Eagleville Green project or if that was separate.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know if I got all the notes from Lynn on this one, but they were talking about from somewhere between Maple and Separatist all the way to the intersection of South Eagleville and 195, possibly putting a median in, a vegetative median, to try to slow things down and keep things a little bit separated. And Cynthia, if you want to add to that, please feel free.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing that Linda updated us on. There's also some additional signage I think that they're looking for at the crosswalks, and just trying to generally improve that area for pedestrians.
Would be fantastic. That's cool.
Great. All right. So that'll take us to the Taste of Mansfield Partners meeting, which is coming up on June 9th at the Uconn Spring Valley Farm, and I'll let Cynthia get into detail on that one.
Yeah, so so our staff team is really looking for representation from a couple of our committees and commissions, including the EDC. So the partners, we meet probably every quarter or so, quarter or so, to talk about what's going on in agriculture, how we can continue to sort of brand the Taste of Mansfield label on different things that different town departments are doing. For example, if the library is doing some sort of session on, a recipe exchange or something like that. So we did a potluck last summer, and this year we're going to be, as Steve said, at the Uconn Spring Valley Farm, and we'll have food provided and just a chance to talk about what everybody's doing with respect to promoting local foods. So a lot of the partners that are involved are senior services, human services, senior center, library, the downtown partnership, the EDC, the ag committee, I know I'm forgetting a bunch, but anyway, I wanted to extend the invitation if there's somebody from the EDC that would like to join us. Yes, I think I did say it's at noon on June 9th. If you want to think about it, let me know, but it's a nice group of people, a good way to, I've never actually been to that farm, so if you have any interest too, that would be fun. It's right off of 32, so we'd love to get somebody from the EDC there.
And most importantly, there'll be food.
Right, that's always the most important thing, right?
Cynthia, could you send a reminder email about that?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you.
All right.
Is it one-off or recurring?
I'm sorry, Melissa.
If I could come on June 9th, is it something I would need to attend recurring or?
No,
Okay.
I think that's the answer you wanted, right?
I'm starting a new job right after that, so I didn't want to commit, but I might be able to make that. So
Yeah.
I'll let
Okay.
you know.
All right, great. And I'll send the note out as Brian requested to every, I'll send that along with the local business relief fund too. So we'll do it all together.
Fantastic. And can we have more? I mean, this is a fantastic problem to have. Can we have more than one representative there?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, yes. If you, as long as you let me know so that we can make
Right.
sure we have enough food and all that. So yes.
Great. Excellent. Any other questions regarding the Taste of Mansfield Partners meeting? Okay. So that'll take us to Uconn Town Collaboration Update. And since Tony's not here, I'll take a swing at this one, and then Cynthia can fill in whatever I leave out. We met again earlier this week. Things are still working out pretty good. I think there's still a sense of collaboration. There's a small working group of the bigger group that's working on the actual framework language for how things should be done between Uconn and the town with respect to development projects and how people should notify the other side and all that kind of stuff, which the bigger group hasn't seen just yet, but they're working on it. We discussed projects that Uconn has on their books, the redevelopment of the Mansfield apartment site, an additional dorm behind Mirror Lake, South Campus. I think there was another project they had on their books as well. And then we talked about some of the development that was going on in our town, Standard at Four Corners, just to kind of keep both sides apprised of what the other's doing. So there's open channels of communication. And I think our next meeting will be next month, middle of next month. But we're redoing our calendar because we ran out of previously scheduled dates. So anything I'm missing, anything that we can talk about that was exciting from that meeting? I guess there's a Secretary of Energy is visiting Mansfield. You allowed to say that?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Secretary of U.S.
Yes, at
Secretary
some
of Energy
point,
is visiting
yes.
this weekend.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing for Uconn and the town. Yeah, Uconn really.
Yeah, and Radenka popped in briefly to mention, I guess the purpose for the Secretary's visit is Uconn has a process for making green hydrogen, which is the more environmentally friendly version. There's blue hydrogen, which I guess is made for fracking or distilling fossil fuels or whatever, refining fossil fuels, which is not as environmentally friendly. Uconn can figure out how to make it in a much more environmentally friendly way and at a cost that's as competitive or slightly better than gasoline. And so apparently they'll be delivering a hybrid vehicle to the depot campus for this whole big thing, and there'll be Uconn hydrogen used to power it, which is a pretty neat thing. I didn't know we were doing that on the depot campus, but pretty cool technology, especially for a town like us, which we're very environmentally friendly. So
Yay to that.
yeah. Did I forget anything from the meeting, Cynthia? I should say, what did I forget from the meeting?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. That's like 3 for 3. I should be done now. I'm gonna just turn the rest of the meeting over to someone else before I screw it up. And then, all right, so I think that's it for the collaborate. Any questions on the Uconn collaboration stuff? All right, great.
Did you get to meet the secretary?
No, she's coming tomorrow, but only for an hour. Ryan, did you pass the background check? Do you get to be there?
I did, so I will have an opportunity to meet Secretary Granholm tomorrow morning.
Very
Awesome,
cool.
Very cool. Will she come in with the same retinue of people and aircraft and stuff that the president did, or?
I don't think it'll be quite that level of pomp and circumstance, but there probably will be no shortage of guns. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, say hello for us and let them know we're very excited about it.
I'll definitely tell her that Steve says hey.
Yep. Excellent. Next, we have the promotion of arts in Mansfield. This was something that Brian brought up. I don't know if it was our last meeting or if it was 2 meetings ago, about trying to have an event on the town green to celebrate all the artists that we have, something where we could, potentially have them showcase their work. And Brian and I were going to get together and chat about this, and I have failed in getting back to Brian to schedule a time, but we're narrowing in on it. I think we're looking at next week at this point. So, but Brian, if you have anything you want to say about it, floor is yours.
I think it's a great idea. Maybe you could find add a speaker to it, or, somebody that is, has some notoriety that might attract people, more people. And then if anybody knows any artists, absolutely help us contact them.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve.
There was a really nice article about Shauna Shane in the Mansfield magazine recently. She would probably be a great person to pick her brain as to the local artist community and who we might bring in and how that event might look.
That's good. How do you want to approach that as an action item?
When we meet next week over beers, we'll figure it out. I have to think on that one for a minute.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Cynthia.
Can I make a suggestion to Brian's point in terms of action item, because this is definitely part of the partnership strategic plan as well. So, one of the things that I told because I was approached by Shoshana Levinson, and I've talked to Kim Bova, who's on the Arts Advisory Committee, is, maybe once you all meet, we can reconnoiter and just kind of talk about a plan, outline a plan. I think one of the things that we've talked about is what do the artists want? Because I know that we did some presumptions, when we did the Square Fair, and, we probably didn't need to do as many sessions as we did, that kind of thing. So I think getting input through Arts Advisory, through Shauna Shane would be great. So I just offer that to you all as something that I can help with.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Man, we are making excellent time tonight, guys. This is, Kristen, are you sufficiently impressed? Excellent. All right. Last thing, I guess the last thing on our agenda is discussion of in-person meetings, which we had been talking about for this meeting, and then obviously kind of kept things virtual. Cynthia, are we allowed to keep things virtual a little longer? What's the mandate here?
Yeah, I think you are allowed to keep it virtual. I think my understanding from Linda and others is that if you do have a meeting in person, if a member of the commission or committee wants to be virtual, you have to set up a process. So then you have to do a hybrid process.
Mm-hmm.
So the PZC has actually gone back to all virtual because I think that's right. Because it's sort of complications of finding staff to run the virtual piece if you're in the council chambers. We have met in the past in conference room B, which may be a little bit easier to do, but it's just a little more complicated.
Cool. So I can't imagine anyone is anxious to go back in person. These virtuals are pretty convenient. So we're all okay with sticking with virtual for the time being? All right, seeing a lot of nodding. All right, excellent. We have our meeting schedule included in the packet. Is there anything anyone wants to add to any future meeting agenda? Any agenda items or things you want to know more about, things we should be thinking about, or anything else we want to bring up tonight? Any new business? Great. In that case, I think it's a record meeting, 37 minutes. I like it. Thank you all very, very, very much. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Brian, a second by Nancy. All those in favor, you can wave goodbye. Thank you very much, everybody. Anthony, I'm gonna shoot you a text or shoot you an email after the meeting. So look for that. Thank you all.
Thank you.